The next internal applications we're going to make are tinctures and glycerites. Tinctures are alcohol extracts of herbs, and generally you could use something like rum or vodka. The more resinous a plant is, the higher alcohol content you need. So if you're working with something like chaparral, which is a super resinous desert plant, you would need almost 100 proof alcohol to actually extract the properties. With most other herbs, if you have a 40% alcohol like rum or vodka, that is going to be sufficient to extract anything you need. Again, some people who have liver issues or have had issues with alcohol in the past don't like to use tinctures, but you're not gonna get drunk. You're only taking 1 to 3 mils at a time, so you're not even like taking a shot of alcohol. But there are people who don't want to use the alcohol tinctures, and if you know people or clients like that, then you could make a glycerite. Glycerites tend to be something that we have children take because we don't want them taking an alcohol extract. The glycerites can be very sweet because they're a plant carbohydrate and derived from soy mostly. So if you know people with soy allergies, having a glycerite might not be the best option for them. So tinctures are very simple. Typically, you would need your alcohol, your dried herbs, and when you look at tinctures on the market, you'll notice that it'll say it's a 1 to 4 extract. That means it's 100 grams of dried herb to 400 milliliters of alcohol, or an alcohol water combination if you're using the 190 proof or the 90% alcohol. It's always nice to have a wooden spoon and also cheesecloth, and you need a large screw top jar. So we're going to make shanjia, or hawthorn berry tincture. In Chinese medicine, the hawthorn berries are used to digest fats and to help with plaque in the arteries and to just digest any sort of fatty, oily food that you eat in general. So a hawthorn tincture would be really nice to take right before you eat. And this is probably the most simple thing you could make. If you want to, you can blend all these together just to kind of get the berries to moisten up a little bit. I just like to leave them whole and then just let the alcohol extract longer. The thing with a tincture is they should sit for about 4 to 6 weeks in a cool, dark location with muslin or cheesecloth in between the metal lid and the alcohol. Okay, no, there we go. And the fun thing with this is literally you just shake it every day. Also very important when you're making any herbal product is to always label, because we always think we're going to remember what day we made it and what it is, but we actually always forget. So then, just super important, we're just going to write hawthorn berry with rum, today's date, equinox. And when you see tincture formulas on the market, usually they will extract each herb separately into a tincture and then blend those tinctures together. I could have put 4 different herbs into this one extraction, but I do prefer to make them all individually and then add them together later into their own formula. So when it's time to strain the tincture, this can be a messy process, but it can also be a really fun process if you like making a mess. So we'll just act like that this has had time to extract. So after about a month of shaking every day, We can actually reuse our muslin and use it as our strainer. So when you're ready to strain the tincture, you can reuse your muslin, and then you want to hold the muslin in place. I always just use a rubber band, but there's all sorts of fancy devices out there. And then very simply, you just slowly strain the alcohol through the muslin. And you lose a little bit, but not too much. And they do have really fancy tincture strainers that allow you to really get a lot of the alcohol out of the plant material. But I generally just kind of shake as much out as I can. And really only with a couple minutes you can see it's already started to change. Because it's alcohol, you don't have to worry too much about if there's any floating plant material that it's going to mold. But when we make the oil, you do want to make sure that you get out as much plant matter as possible, or it could cause the oil to mold. But with tinctures, not so important. With glycerites, you definitely want to make sure that you've got the plant material out. And then you can just pour your tincture right into a bottle that has a cap. And so now when you hear you need to take 1 to 3 mils of tincture a day or at a time, you'll know that about 1 dropper full is about 1 mil. So you can say, oh, I need to take 1 dropper full or 2 dropper fulls instead of having to remember 1 mil or 2 mils. And again, just like when we make the tincture, you want to make sure to label your bottle.